All right, Coach Pitino, you were tweeting last night. What'd you think of the Jimmy Butler trade?
You know, it's funny. I'm not kidding, but I was actually just on the phone with my ticket guy over there with the Wolves, Jeff Municky. I said, "All right, man, I'm gonna buy some season tickets because I'm fired up about the trade."
Yes, sir.
You know, I think more than anything, the biggest question was, would you give up Wiggins? And I think everybody loves Zach LaVine, and as did I. But you know what? You're getting a guy who's three-time All-Star. I actually think that Ricky Rubio is extremely undervalued in the NBA. I think he's a really good player, and now you got some really good weapons around him. You know, with a good young core. I mean, you know, obviously with Cat Wiggins and now Jimmy Butler, I think Gorky is going to have a really, really good NBA career. I just think they've got a fun team, and they finally got, you know, I'm a big believer, and I know it sounds pretty simple, but if you want to make the playoffs, you got to have all-stars. You know, whether it's two obviously would be great, three would be tremendous, but they're now looking at potentially three all-stars. That's how you win games. You know, it's much like us this year. It was the first time we had all-conference players, and coincidentally, we're a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, so they go hand in hand, and certainly the Wolves are set up to have a really good team.
Coach, you recruit, so you're well aware of 5-star, 4-star, and those 5-star kids are elite. I mean, there's, you know, just a handful of those guys in the country, and they're 5-star for a reason. Jimmy Butler is elite. What separates him? What puts him over a lot of great players in the league, but there ain't a lot of elite players, and Cat is elite. And now the Timberwolves have 2 elite players. What puts Jimmy Butler in that elite category?
Yeah, I mean, from what, you know, everybody has said, and I do agree with them, I mean, he's probably a top 10, top 15 player in the league, you know, and he's competitive, obviously. He averages about 24 points per game. What's funny is he kind of appears old. He's 27 years old. He's not old, obviously. So he's produced, you know, and he's produced in this league. And that's the biggest thing. Like Andrew Wiggins, as much as, you know, people are, you know, not sure about him just yet, like he produces and he's young. And that's so important. With Jimmy Butler, I think he's got a veteran type presence, but he's still young. I think he'll force those guys to be held accountable on the defensive end of it. I mean, I know we all love offense, but you know, with a young team, and they're still young, you know, to get a guy with some experience who's defended, showed toughness in this league is huge.
On the 100 podcast with Gophers head coach Richard Pitino. Hey, Coach, it takes just one guy to get you on that ESPN set or whatever, like Coach Cal, in the lottery. And is there a better recruiting tool than to be on ESPN, putting guys in the NBA?
You know, it's funny, when I was at the University of Florida, they were 2 years removed from back-to-back titles.
Yeah.
And, you know, you always have what you sell. And it was amazing. We sold more. And it's not that kids don't care about winning, but we sold Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, all these NBA guys that Coach Donovan had than we did the national championships, which is amazing. But, you know, it's what they want. And, you know, it's to the point now, I think it used to be like coaches didn't want their guys to go early, and, you know, because it hurts your team a little bit. It is so beneficial for you to get guys in the NBA, and you know, so we've got to do our job to get guys in the NBA. We haven't had an NBA player since Chris Humphries. That is not a recipe for success. So, you know, hopefully we've got some guys in the pipeline. We're continuing to recruit them. The more NBA guys you have, the more you win. The more you win, the more you NBA. You know, it all goes hand in hand. And like you said, I mean, that exposure on draft night, that's where their dreams come true. And, you know, I hopefully can be a part of that one day.
I have my NBA scout hat on right now, and if I were to look at the Gophers roster, your roster, and say, X player has the best chance to go to the NBA, I immediately pop with Amir Coffey. What do you think?
Well, you know, the NBA, every time I go to NBA games, the biggest difference that I see from college to NBA is the size. They're so big.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very hard to be in the NBA as an undersized guy. So Amir is almost 6'8".
Right.
He's a guard. You know, so already that's in his favor. You know, he's got a ways to go, which is exciting. He wants to get there. He's committed to do it. So I think he's got a chance. It's not easy, but step one, his freshman year, he passed with flying colors. So we just got to continue to progress, continue to stay hungry, and I think he'll do it.
Coach, you also tweeted, and you brought up Ricky a minute ago, but you thought he was the biggest winner in this trade that the Wolves just made. Why do you think that? Is it because he can now just go focus on making plays for other people and doesn't really have any pressure to score, any scoring his addition? Why did you think that?
I just think that it's very obvious he's a wizard with the ball. He's a phenomenal passer. He makes the right play. And if you put great players around him, there's no reason why he can't be a great point guard in this league and have a great career. And it's not a knock necessarily on the other guys that were there, but, he just didn't have enough big-time weapons around him. He doesn't necessarily need to be that scorer, although he can do that. He's underrated on the defensive side of it. And I just think that, he'll be much more appreciated now because he'll be in the right role. I mean, that's so important. And now you got Andrew Wiggins on one wing, you got Jimmy Butler on another, you got Cat, you got Gork, you got guys that he can get the ball to. And, it's like this year, from an offensive standpoint for us, the more weapons you had, the court's more wide open for other guys to flourish. And I think that Ricky Rubio will have that opportunity now with a really good roster.
Richard Pitino on the Wolves. Now your Gophers, some more on them. You lose Akeem Springs to graduation. Man, he was fun to watch last year, Coach. Too bad he had that Achilles deal in the tournament, but my gosh, who knows how far you would have gone. But this year, the guy coming back from injury that I think I read, you said he has a chance to be one of the best players on the team is Devontae Fitzgerald.
Well, I don't know if I said exactly that.
Maybe not.
Something along the lines of when he was healthy, he was one of our better players last summer. Now, you don't know how he'll rebound from injury. We're very hopeful that he'll be 100%. We're taking him, we're bringing him along really slowly. He's doing non-contact stuff right now. What I like about him is he can defend, he can block shots, he's multi-positional. So there's times if he comes back healthy where we can play some really, really big lineups. So we'll take it slow with him. But he's all 6'7". He can shoot the ball. He can really, really defend, adds length, and I am excited about him. I want to kind of curb that, that excitement a little bit just because I want him to get healthy. But when he was healthy, I was really, really fired up for him.
Coach, switching gears a little bit, fun fact, you coached at Northeastern from 2005-2006 season. I'm an alum of Northeastern.
Wow.
Yes,
you
sir.
don't meet many of those. That's
yeah, I got my MBA from the DeMora McKim School of Business up there. So, fun fact, we have something in common.
Yeah, and it's amazing, actually. People don't realize, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I coached J.J. Barea when I was at Northeastern, and I'm so happy for him just to have that long of a successful career in the NBA. He was such a tough competitor. And it's not a surprise that he is stuck because he's as tough as they come.
Yeah, another fun fact, we have a common friend. I met you out at Interlochen one day. I was with my friend Greg Jennings, and I'm the guy who met you out there. How'd you hit him that day?
No, yeah, that's right. Not good. No, not good. It hasn't been a great summer for that. I got to play more. But I played with Greg a couple of times, and he's one of those guys. It's funny, like, by next season he'll be a scratch golfer just because he's got a good swing and he'll play and he'll work at it. And that's the way it works with golf, and he'll be a terrific one.
I mean, it helps when you live on Interlochen.
Yes, it does. He lives close, so it's perfect.
Coach Richard Pitino, what's your message to Nate Mason? I mean, I'm guessing you probably don't need one, but are you telling him right off the bat, no questions asked, Isaiah Washington or not, you're the starting point guard?
We don't really talk like that. It's starting is not really as important to me as it is to everybody else.
Okay.
I think at the end of the day with Nate, it's just all about getting better. And we're all trying to do that. You can't get complacent. What type of dimension will you add going into your senior year? You had a really good, obviously, junior year. You have progressed. You've gotten better. I mean, and you should be proud of that. But what's the next step for you? How are you going to evolve as a player? You're going to become a better three-point shooter. You're going to be in the best shape of your life because this is your last chance. It's much like, in the pros, right? I mean, this is a contract year for Nate. So from
Yeah.
an individual standpoint, he's got to make sure he exhausts every single minute of the day to put himself in a terrific position, obviously to help the team, but, we want him to go make money playing basketball. There would be nobody who'd be more proud of in the spring. He gets his degree and gets, a contract playing basketball, playing the game he loves. And that's my goal more than anything, is to put him in that position. I think he can do it.
Pound for pound, state for state, if you were to look at Minnesota's high school basketball landscape and the recruits that have come out in the past 5, 6, 7 years, and obviously here in the minute you've been here, Rich, how good is Minnesota compared to some other states nationally?
It's good, and it's getting better and better. The high school coaches do a great job. The AAU coaches are terrific. They do it the right way. Kids know how to play. I think what you always want is you want depth, as much as you possibly can, and that's continuing to get better. And I think if our program is good, if the Wolves are good, it just helps basketball. I mean, I never realized until I moved here that it was such a good basketball state, not even from a talent standpoint, but from a fan interest standpoint. I thought moving to Minnesota, it was going to be all about hockey.
Yeah.
And certainly people love hockey, but they love basketball here. And, that helps everything. It gets fan interest, and then younger kids are playing. They're continuing to grow. So we got to continue to get those players like we've done in state. You're not going to take them all, because you got to put together the right fit for your team. But the state has been really good. And when you're the only Division I men's basketball program in the state, you have to make sure you get those guys.
Coach, I'm guessing you grew up basically in a gym at some point. Somewhere you were in a gym all of your childhood and growing up. So you've been to basically every venue throughout your coaching career. You're probably growing up with your dad and whatnot. What's special about the barn?
I have. It is accurate. I've grown up in the gym, and I've grown up around teams, and it's just I've been lucky with that, and different venues and different places. And I look at the barn really as a Wrigley Field, Fenway Park type arena. You walk in it, and you can just tell there's been great basketball games played in there with great tradition. Our players love it. They love playing on that stage. There's not a whole lot that I would change about it, because it's just got that mystique. There's not many places like it in college basketball. Probably Hinkle Fieldhouse, us, Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Those three, come to mind, and they just got so much charm. So I love coaching it. It's a lot of fun.
Athletes Village, what are you most excited for?
Well, it's hard to just name one thing. I mean, we were really behind in that department, and what was frustrating was, our fans want it so badly, but we just were not committed enough at the time to compete to where we needed to compete with. That's just the reality of it. I mean, I remember, I tell PJ Fleck this all the time. I'm like, you don't realize, man, you're walking in at such a good time with the new facilities. Like, I would leave practice, and our team would be eating their food, their team meal in a hallway, and then I'd walk past football. They'd be in another hallway, and it's just everybody was on top of each other, and it's just not conducive to where we want to be, where we want to compete at, and you can't hide that. You can't hide the fact that you don't have up-to-date facility. So now when we bring recruits on campus, they're going to see that commitment level. That's the biggest thing, is they want to be put in the best possible position to compete at the highest level. We have that now. For us, from a men's basketball standpoint, when it comes to Athletes Village, there is going to be it's nice, but there's going to be no place that makes more sense and is going to be more efficient with your time than our place. I mean, we legitimately, you go first floor, you have a cafeteria where you can eat. The second, third floor for us is where you train. You have, wow. You have your basketball court, you have your weight room, you have your training room, players' lounge, locker room, everything right there. Then you can go up another floor, and you've got all academic tutors, all those things. So you can do everything there. So you can legitimately be in this building or on campus going to class. So our setup is just it's so convenient for these guys. And that's what it's all about. I know when I was in college, if you had the opportunity to get food that was close to your dorm or walk across campus to get something a little bit healthier, you're probably going to the one that's a little bit closer. So our guys' lives will be greatly impacted, all the programs, top to bottom. You're going to see it. It may not happen right away, but the recruiting from everybody is going to improve. The performance will improve because the commitment level is off the charts.
Who got the corner office, you or PJ Fleck?
Well, we both did. He was actually in my office about 10 minutes ago, but actually he's on the other side because football's kind of on the other side, so we're not as close as we'll have to figure it out because we're pretty close now, and he just walks across his little bridge to my spot, so we'll figure it out. But I'm excited for him. He's become a good friend, and I enjoy not just hanging out with him, obviously because he's a good guy, but it's really, really been fun for me just to pick his brain about, he's so good at just culture development, and there's so many good innovative ideas that he has. And, it's always nice just to have a guy to talk to because it's like anything else. I mean, when you're a young coach trying to figure it out with a young family, there's a lot of things on your plate, so it's always nice to talk to a guy like that.
You guys have nicknames for each other? Yeah, me and Remy are good friends. I call him Remy. He calls me Fat Boy. But
I don't have that yet.
No?
We wouldn't do that to each other just yet. But it's been fun actually because we do hang out a lot.
Yeah,
it's been really good. He lives about 4 houses down from me, so it's pretty cool.
Coach, we can't repeat what he actually calls me, Coach.
If I had nicknames for you, I call you Tino because that's just badass. Anybody call you Tino?
No, they don't. Maybe we'll get that going.
I would get that going. And I call Fleck a Smedium shirt guy.
He has got the medium shirts. He does do that.
Hey, Coach, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, and enjoy a little bit of your break before it gets crazy next month, and get on that, man.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.